Hello, agricultural science scientists. And today we're going to be looking at pseudo-ruminant digestive system. Specifically, we're going to look at the rabbit's digestive system because the rabbit is a pseudo-ruminant. Now, I know the term pseudo-ruminant may sound strange, but it's actually very easy to understand. Now, a rabbit is a herbivore with a simple stomach and it is not a ruminant. The rabbit is a pseudo-ruminant animal. Pseudo means false and ruminant is referring to the rumen. So rabbit has a false rumen. So the rabbit is a pseudo-ruminant animal. It does not chew the cud or have a rumen, but it does depend on bacterial digestion of cellulose, and cellulose is the main substance that makes up the cell walls and fibers of plants for much of its nutrition. So it basically depends on bacterial digestion of cellulose for much of its nutrition. Now let us compare the pseudo-ruminant to the ruminant digestive system. There are two main things you need to note here. This is the rumen of the ruminant animal. This is the cecum, which is the enlarged appendix, right, of the pseudo-ruminant animal. So this cecum here is the false rumen that is a part of the pseudo-ruminant digestive system, digestive tract. This is actually attached to the colon. This is where we have the bacteria living that actually breaks down cellulose, but they break it down in the rumen of the ruminant animal, and that is at the fore. So there are four gut fermenters. Their fermentation takes place closer towards the face of the animal. Now for the rabbit and the horses, their cellulose breakdown takes place at the end of the digestive tract. The cecum is where we have these microbes living. Now let's get into it. Let us first look at some feed that rabbits actually eat. They eat herbage or green feed such as watergrass, sweet potato vine, railway daisy, leaves of lettuce, cabbage, cauliflower, and pak choy. They feed on root crops such as carrot, sweet potato, radish, and cassava. There is also the concentrate, which is dried grass, not dried grass. The concentrate is the feed that you buy from the farm store that is actually formulated to contain the right amount of protein, carbohydrates, and all the other nutrients that they need. Concentrates, rabbit ration, and pellets are substitutes such as broiler starter, poulet grower, and pig grower. These are some concentrates that you can actually give to your rabbits. Kitchen scraps can also be used like your bread scraps, discarded leaves of cabbage, pak choy, lettuce, and cauliflower, as well as vegetable peelings. Now, these materials must be free from pests, must be free from chemicals as well, because you don't want to harm your animal. So now that we have seen some of the feed stuff that the rabbit actually consume, we're now going to look at the digestive tract of the rabbit. Okay? Now, the digestive tract greatly resembles that of a horse. So horses and rabbits have very similar digestive tract. They both have a cecum. So both of them are hindgut fermenters, meaning that they have an organ called the cecum that functions much like the rumen of a cow. But instead of being at the beginning of the digestive tract, it is at the end. The cecum is full of special microbes that break down and digest various fibers and other feedstuffs that enters the cecum. So in the rabbit digestive tract, they have what we call a cecum. And inside the cecum is where the microbes live that actually break down cellulose. They don't have a rumen, so they can't regurgitate. They can't bring the food back to the mouth to re-chew and re-swallow. Right? Let's move on. Because the rabbit has this cecum, it requires a fairly high amount of fiber from the forage in its diet. But because the beginning of the digestive tract is like that of a monogastric animal, such as pigs and humans, the fiber quality must be high. Rabbits will not do well at all on coarse, very mature fiber sources. Good quality fiber is a major energy source for rabbits and an effective tool for maintaining the microbial population in the cecum. Healthy microbial population in the cecum are critical for proper digestion and optimal gut health. Right? So they need to have healthy microbial population that's going to actually break down their cellulose to release protein and other minerals and vitamins. Food. Now here's the path of digestion in the rabbit. We know that digestion starts in the mouth, right? Food travels from the stomach to the small intestine, but first the animal must take in the food with the mouth. It passes through the esophagus and into the stomach that contains gastric juices, right? So where it encounters enzymes which aid in digestion and absorption. So food travels from the stomach to the small intestine where it encounters enzymes which aid in digestion and absorption of nutrients from proteins, sugars, and starches. From there, it travels to the cecum, where the microbial breakdown of fiber occurs. It then enters the large intestine, where there is significant water absorption, followed by excretion of the feces. If the cecum occurs at the end of the digestive tract, how do the nutrients released from the fiber get absorbed? So we need to find out if it is that the cecum is at the end of the digestive tract, which means it's going to have to enter the rectum and the anus, and it's going to have to go through excretion. How will they absorb the nutrients that are released from the fiber? How will it get absorbed? Now, volatile fatty acids, and you're hearing this terminology again, volatile fatty acids, VFAs, which are the energy components of fiber digestion. So when the fiber breaks down by these bacteria and fungi and other organisms, they release volatile fatty acid, which is used as an energy source for animals. Right? Now, volatile fatty acids, right, can be absorbed directly through the cecal epithelium. So through the epithelium of the cecum. It is through the epithelium of the rumen for the ruminant animal. In this case, we are talking about the pseudoruminant, and they have a cecum. So it is absorbed directly through the cecal epithelium. However, other nutrients such as amino acids, vitamins, and minerals are excreted in a special soft fecal pellet known as night feces, due to the fact that they are excreted only at night, right? And you'll never see the rabbits passing the stool. You rarely will ever see it because they actually collect it from their anus. Whenever we never see them because rabbits practice coprophagy. They eat these special night feces directly from the anus. So they use their mouth to collect this feces before it actually hits the ground. This, no doubt, has a yuck factor for humans, but for rabbits, it is an extremely efficient way to capture and utilize the nutrients produced by the fermentation of feed in the cecum. So when you have the bacteria breaking down the cellulose and releasing these amino acids and vitamins and minerals, the rabbits cannot make use of them because they're not absorbed through the epithelium of the cecum. They are passed out in what we call night feces, and the animal must eat it back to make use of nutrients. So the first set of feces is not necessarily waste, it is actually nutrient for the rabbit. Like all animals, rabbits need a balance of all the necessary nutrients in order to be optimally productive and healthy. What they need is determined by their stage in life. Young growing rabbits or bunnies and lactating does will have the highest nutrition requirements, especially energy, while adult rabbits such as pet rabbits will have the lowest. Because remember, the lactating doe must be producing milk to feed its young, and the young rabbit is actually actively growing, so they need a lot more energy because they're a lot more active like babies. Toddlers are very active, so they use up a lot of energy. So you need to replace that energy. So young growing kits, or what we call bunnies, and lactating does will have the highest nutrient requirements, especially energy, while adult rabbits such as pet rabbits will have the lowest. Breeds with long fur such as the Angoras may require more protein and fat to support optimal coat quality, because remember that amino acids help with our nails and our hair on our bodies, right? So because they need to have nice shiny coat, long coat, they need a little more energy. properly balanced feeds that meet your rabbit's needs will keep your bunnies healthy and happy throughout their lifetime. So your kids, what we call kittens or bunnies, are the young rabbits, and it will keep them healthy and happy throughout their lifetime once you provide them with the balanced diet. Now let's go back through what we have covered so far. Let us look at the rabbit's digestive system, and I take up my pointer here. Teeth, right? The mouth, using the teeth to start mastication, right? Then it passes to the esophagus, and you have the salivary glands that are releasing salivary amylase that starts to break down starch. You have the esophagus where food travels along this tube and it enters the stomach. The stomach is right here. We have the liver that produces bile, right? That emulsifies fat. And when it reaches the stomach, it is mixed with enzymes that actually starts the process of digestion. So you have the different enzymes in the stomach that breaks down the different things that are in the feed, like the different nutrients that are in the feed. It starts to break them down. Now, remember that rabbits are herbivores, so they eat grass. So a lot of digestion will not take place in the stomach because they don't have the capability, and there aren't any microbes, very little microbe in the stomach that can actually survive hydrochloric acid. So we don't have the here. So when the food goes to the stomach, whatever can be digested there will be digested, and it's going to pass down to the small intestine, right? The small intestine here, where the food passed through, whatever has been digested in the stomach is absorbed in the walls of the small intestine. But for the rabbit, we know that not much digestion took place, so the food is going to pass down to the large intestine, right? Where it's going to enter, see the large intestine here? It's going to enter the cecum here, where the bacteria is going to actually start breaking it down. It's going to absorb the volatile fatty acids through the epithelium in the walls of the cecum, the cecal epithelium. The volatile fatty acid, which is used for energy, is absorbed here. Everything else moves down to the rectum, where it is stored temporarily, and it's actually soft feces. It is actually nutrition for the rabbit. So after it leaves the cecum, it goes to the rectum, out through the anus, where the rabbit actually collects it with their mouth, and the process of digestion starts all over. So they basically they actually go through the process of digestion twice. First time it moves from the mouth to the anus. Second time it's going to go back through the same process, but the digested fiber will be absorbed in the small intestine the second time. So if the animal is not getting the opportunity to eat its night feces, it's going to be lacking in nutrients. Now let's run through the different parts. The mouth, food is chewed and mixed with saliva. Pellets are re-ingested in the morning to be fully digested in the stomach. So food goes through the mouth twice. Stomach, digestion of foods in acid. Fully digested, re-ingested pellets. Food goes through the stomach twice. Small intestine, the same thing. The first time it goes through the small intestine, there's little to no absorption into the bloodstream because it is not broken down. We don't digest fiber in our stomach. Some food is digested and absorbed into the bloodstream, only some. Whatever is not fiber is going to break down and it's going to be absorbed. Then we have the cecum. Partially digested cellulose or roughage sends food to the large intestine or colon. Okay? So the second time the food is going to come out, the waste is going to come out as hard pellets. So let's keep going. Large intestine or colon, water is absorbed and food is formed into pellets. So it's hard feces. Rectum, whole dry pellets or feces. The anus is where the feces are expelled. Now let's go back through. We're going to label the digestive system now. This is the teeth, right, that is found inside the mouth. This is the esophagus right here. This is the liver here. Here we'll find the stomach. We'll have the salivary glands right here. We have the pancreas right here. Here we have the large intestine, small intestine, the cecum, the rectum, and the anus. These are the parts of the rabbit's digestive system. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or send me a private message on the classroom. I hope this video was of benefit to someone and that you've learned something today that you didn't know before. Until next time, do take care.